I remember during high school, I was frustrated because I spent most of my time doing schoolwork that didn't seem like it would really benefit me in the future. I felt like I could spend all of that time doing more important things, like chasing after my dream to become a video creator. When I graduated, I knew college wasn't for me. 4 more years of school, and spending massive amounts of money. I could take those 4 years to just focus on my dream and take that money to put towards it as well. That's what I'm currently doing, putting everything into my dream. Life on this earth is too short. Whatever your dreams are, now is the time to make them a reality, whether that includes going to college or not. You have these dreams for a reason, so don't settle for a 9 to 5, because before you know it, your life will pass by and you'll look back and wish you put in the extra work it took to do the one thing you felt truly passionate about. I know for me, whenever I pull out my camera, I cannot even imagine settling for less. Now this doesn't mean you shouldn't get a so-called normal job. You will likely need one to get by until your dream becomes a reality. But don't just sit around while you're working that job waiting for something to happen, because it won't. You need to set time aside to pursue your dream. A college degree doesn't make your dream a reality. For example, people don't hire you as a videographer just because you have a degree. They hire you because they have seen the work you do and they like what they see. You can definitely learn the skills for you to make those videos at college, but it's not the only way. Quentin Tarantino, James Cameron, and Stanley Kubrick, just to name a few, either dropped out of college or didn't go at all. Filmmaking was their dream, and they made it a reality. I think Albert Einstein says it best. Never give up on what you really want to do. The person with big dreams is more powerful than the one with all the facts. I know it can feel like you will never get to where you want to be, but I believe that if you set your heart and mind to it, the day will come when you're living the life you dreamed of all those years ago. Wow, that was the most immersive video game I have ever played. Why can't books be like that in real life?
Everything changes every which way. You got to hold on to what you need. And if I hide myself away, how could I go with the world away? We can trust each other, always make things right. What is more important than loving someone? La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Everything changes every which way. You got to hold on to what you stay here till the morning. Stay here till the sunrise comes.
Ever since I was little, I have loved creating stories. I would always imagine myself as a different person or an animal and make up a story for them, and I would play out like a movie. There was nothing my imagination couldn't do. If I could imagine it, I could become it. I did that for most of my early life. Then for Christmas in 2005, I got my first video camera. The quality was terrible, but I didn't mind. I loved running around with it, recording anything I possibly could. I was just recording life.
Mama, just gonna move your cocoa.
Eventually, I started making little skits with the camera, which mostly consisted of me and my brother doing things that made no sense.
Come on, get on, cousin. Are you ready for this? No.
For Christmas in 2009, I got a Nikon point-and-shoot camera. This is where things started changing for me. In 2010, I discovered a little thing called Windows Movie Maker. I edited my first video in December of 2010. All it was me moving action figures and stuff around, but I thought it was so cool, how one shot went to the next so smoothly. When it was finished, I burned it to a DVD, and that was my first success. I kept on making videos like that and burning them to DVDs. In 2012, I made a short film that was terrible, but it was the closest thing I had made so far that resembled a short film. All it was, though, was me and my brother just playing around like we always had while our mom recorded us. It was all made up on the spot. I would tell our mom to hit record and we would do and say whatever came to mind. And for a while, that was what my short films were, just me and sometimes my brother making things up on the spot. In those videos, there was no real cinematography. It was just me holding the camera, recording myself saying things and showing things. One day, I stumbled upon a video called Jedi Kittens Strike Back. It was a video made by Zach King. I thought it was awesome, and I wanted to know how it was made. Luckily, there was a behind-the-scenes video. When I watched it, that's when I first learned about masking. My mind was blown. A whole new world of possibilities opened up to me at that moment. So I excitedly looked up a tutorial of how to mask in Windows Movie Maker. And what do you know? You can't mask in Windows Movie Maker. My little masking dreams were crushed. But I did learn about After Effects, and I really wanted it so I could make videos just like Zach King. From then on, Zach King was a role model to me. Even later when I started doing Vine, a lot of my Vines were similar to his.
When you can't solve the Rubik's Cube, eat it.
I got an iPod Touch for Christmas. I didn't use it for video making at first. I kept using my Nikon point-and-shoot in Windows Movie Maker, but later I discovered many apps that allowed you to put visual effects in your videos, and also discovered iMovie, which at the time cost $5. Of course I bought it and began editing and filming my videos with it. A lot of my videos at that time were shot vertically because I was using my iPod, but eventually switched to landscape. I edited a few of my videos in iMovie on my dad's MacBook, but mostly stuck to the way I was doing it. But when I learned about green screen and that iMovie on a Mac could even do that, I had to make a video with it. That video was absolutely terrible, and it took me 12 hours to make. For my 14th birthday, I got an iPad mini and a tripod so I could start making better quality videos. And let me tell you, I did. iMovie on the iPad had so many more features than on the iPod, like my personal favorite, trailer templates. I went on a spree of making trailers for films that didn't exist. Those trailers were the films. I would think up a story and film it in a trailer form. Doing that really got me into more of a typical short film type of mindset. In mid-2014, I made a film called To Feel Like a New Person, and that film was the moment where I started striving to tell actual stories and not just film random videos that could barely pass as short films. That video was also the first video I posted online under my new title, Open Trail Entertainment. This film still means so much to me because looking back at it and seeing how a lot of my films to this day are filmed the same way and follow a similar story structure just shows that this film was a major influence on me as a filmmaker. Later that year, I spent my money that I had been saving up to buy a MacBook so I could start using iMovie more efficiently because I knew this is what I wanted to pursue. That's where my short films took a big leap in quality. That Christmas I got a GoPro. I made a few films with it, but I either never finished them or I accidentally deleted the finished products because I forgot to check iMovie before I restored my computer to factory settings to fix an issue I was having with it. I mostly used it how I used my first camera. I just ran around filming random videos with my brother.
Oh yeah! Me axe murderer! Me kill Jonah! He Jonah dead! Excuse me. I like to kill.
What do you think you're doing?
You're driving away, are you? No, you don't. I'm too tough to feel pain.
In 2015, I released a film called Water. It was pretty much a copy of a short film that really inspired me called Ambition. Later that year, I downloaded Premiere Pro and After Effects on my computer because my dad subscribed to the Adobe Creative Cloud. The first thing I did was play around with masking because I had waited a long time to do it. My first tests were terrible. I then made a film called Zombie Kittens. It was inspired by Zach King's video Pumpkin Zombies. In this video, I wanted to use a lot of special effects because I had access to After Effects, but I didn't know what I was doing. I would drag in particle effects and export the clips just like that, so all of my visual effects looked bad. The film also included many more poor attempts at masking. I didn't use After Effects and Premiere Pro that often, only when I was doing special effects and working with layers. The next advancement in quality was when I made a film called The Weed Cutter. In this one, I was trying to get as many different shots and angles as I could to make it more cinematic. But at that time, I didn't edit my film super precisely, so there are shots where I just stop walking and freeze, because I liked giving myself a clear spot where I wanted to switch to the next shot. At the end of October, I started uploading to Vimeo, and I decided to upload one video every Tuesday. But on November 30th, after only 4 weeks, I broke my arm and stopped uploading. During that time, I didn't really make any videos. From November 30th, 2015 to August 23rd, 2017, I only made 3 videos. I made a trailer video, a stop motion that I posted to Vimeo that explained in the description why I stopped uploading, and a video that was based off of a website called The Quiet Place Project. All I did was take the text from the website and put it over videos I took of nature. I filmed that video with a Canon T5i that I rented because I was planning on filming a short film that I had been working on since August 2015. It was called Emerald Crest, and it never got made because I couldn't get all the actors together at the same time. Which, looking back at it, I'm glad I couldn't because that project was way over my head. The screenplay was 18 pages long and I had never filmed actors before, so I know for a fact it would have been a mess. So I took the screenplay and all the storyboards and put them away. In 2016, I got an iMac for Christmas and I bought Final Cut Pro on it. During that time, I mostly just edited random videos for my new YouTube channel. I didn't advance myself in filmmaking. Fast forward to August of 2017. This is where I started getting back into filmmaking, especially a more experimental approach to filmmaking. I started my filmmaking career back up with a little film called Popsicle Stick. It was filmed on my phone, an iPhone 5S. It opened up a new door of filmmaking for me. Being able to make short films with random objects edited together in a very unique way was my new passion. That Christmas, I got a Canon T6i. I didn't expect that at all because I didn't ask for a camera. That camera has carried me to where I am now, and I still am using it to make all of my films. Going into 2018 with an actual camera inspired me a lot, and that was my year for filmmaking. I made a total of 29 films that year, all being very experimental films. Going from making a few videos over a period of 3 years to making 29 in 1 year felt so good. In May, I made a film called The Book. This was the first film that I wrote a screenplay for and storyboarded. This was the beginning to my fascination with visual storytelling without any dialogue. I watch it now and I notice that it resembles To Feel Like a New Person and those other films I made when I got serious about filmmaking. That summer I started going full steam ahead with experimental films. I was making a new video every few days experimenting with different subjects. On June 19th, 2018, I made the first one. It was a video of ants. This video was the beginning of a 7-part series showing ants going about their life. On April 5th, 2019, I made the sequel. On April 12th, I made the third installment. Ants 4 came out June 26th, followed by 5, 6, and 7 all on August 13th. I didn't expect that one video to make so many more. All of the sequels to Ants were shot on an iPhone 8. I also filmed other films of mine during that time on my phone, because sometimes I would just stumble upon something that I needed to capture at that moment, so I didn't have time to grab my camera and get it set up. Or I just wanted to record a video in the moment. For the rest of 2018 and all through 2019, I made more experimental films, including a few short films with no dialogue. Near the end of 2019, I picked up my screenplay for Emerald Crest. I read through it and there were so many unnecessary words and things that didn't make sense. So I decided to make changes and start working on it again. When I was done, the screenplay went from 18 pages to 2. I might film it at some point, but I haven't decided yet. At the beginning of this year, I started a new YouTube channel called Artful Thought Productions. I wanted to start over and just focus on short films that were artistic and had a specific story thought out. I also wanted to start creating specific atmospheres in the films, and not just stories. These films were all told without any dialogue because the films I have made like that have been the most influential to me. The first one was Trapped, which I wanted to have an unsettling atmosphere to it. A week later I released The Storm. For this one I wanted a cold and dark atmosphere mixed with a warm atmosphere. 2 months later I made Burn, and it's another milestone for me. For this one, my number one focus was just the atmosphere. I spent probably a week alone thinking only about the atmosphere without knowing any of the story. Doing that paid off because that film has the best atmosphere out of all of my films. A month after that, I made Creation. This film was inspired by the creation sequence in the movie The Tree of Life, which I watched earlier this year. It quickly became my favorite movie and I wanted to create something inspired by it. So I pulled out a glass, filled it with water and soap, and just recorded it. This one is my favorite film I have made so far. The next month I made Pappas, a story about a sentient dandelion. This is one of my more weirder films and I don't know how to feel about it. A few months later I started working on my biggest short film to date, and that is Ingress. When I started working on it, I wanted to start making longer films and start expanding on ideas, because I want to start making films with dialogue. So why not start with the form of storytelling I'm used to and just focus on creating a longer film. It took me over a month to complete, but it felt so good when it was finally finished. Now for the future, I'm going to go back and make some more short films that are under 5 minutes in length, with me behind the camera so I can practice camera movement. Because I have always been in front of the camera and I would like to start doing more traditional style short films with more dialogue. I won't be totally dropping visual storytelling, because doing films like that have advanced me the most, and because in film it's best to show and not tell. But I have had so many ideas in my head for a while for great drama films. I just have never looked for any actors. I'm glad I didn't, because if I would have jumped to making films with dialogue so soon, I wouldn't have had to think in a different creative way to tell stories with what I had access to. Doing that really benefited me in the long run. Focusing on what's in front of the camera versus what needs to be said would have just been boring conversations, because back then, my videos would just consist of people talking to each other. I wouldn't have even thought about how important it is to show what is happening, and how important of a role music plays in a film. but now I can say with confidence that I can now take what I have learned and apply it to a film with dialogue. I sometimes wonder where I would be if it wasn't for my film to feel like a new person. That film seems like it set me up on this path. Just the amount of films I have made that followed that same style. I didn't even realize I have been making films this way for so long until recently. With that said, I'm going to keep learning and growing as a filmmaker and cannot wait to see where I'll be in 10 years' time.